What's going on, guys? Minnesota here, and as of today, August 23rd, 2024, we are allowed to publicly talk about Valve's latest game, Deadlock. Deadlock is a third-person 6v6 shooter where the objective is to eliminate your enemies, their defenses, and destroy their base in order to win the game. As of the time of recording this, the game is still invite-only, but there is no limit to the amount of people that they are letting into the game. So if you have a friend who has access to play Deadlock, ask them to invite you, and you should be able to get into the game with about 24 hours. That is what I've noticed and read. Most people will be able to associate the gameplay of Deadlock as a combination of League of Legends and Overwatch. I believe Valve is trying this in order to cater to new audiences that are maybe too intimidated by Dota 2 and can't play TF2 because Valve left that game to die. Regardless, I and many others have had a ton of fun playing Deadlock. Currently, there are 21 characters to choose from in the game, and there can be a max of one of each of those 21 characters in the entire match, so there are 12 unique picks for each game. But before I get into the characters, let me give a brief rundown of how the game works. Once the game begins, you will be assigned a lane. There are 4 lanes, each distinguished by their color: pink, yellow, blue, and orange. 2 lanes will have 2 people assigned to them. The other 2 lanes will only have 1 person assigned to them. Keep in mind that you are not bound to stick to your lane for the entire game. You can switch to a different lane, flank the enemy, and help your team push one individual lane if you want. The entire map is open, and as the game progresses, the lanes become much less defined, and the game evolves into more big team fights in order to break into the enemy's base. In a lane, your objective is going to be to kill the enemy troopers that spawn in periodically. The quicker you kill the enemy team's troopers, the quicker your troopers can move forward towards the enemy team's guardian, so you can take it out. There are 3 stages of these guardians before entering into the enemy's base. The solo guardian towards the middle of the map, the walker, which is about a third out from the spawn, and the dual set of guardians right next to the spawn. In the beginning of the game, you will move slowly and not deal a whole lot of damage. As you defeat troopers, a green orb will appear above their head. These orbs will pop after a short period of time, and you will gather their souls. Souls are the main currency for buying perks and upgrades for your character. Keep in mind, though, that by shooting the orb before it pops, you will guarantee that you capture those souls. What do I mean by guarantee? Well, on the enemy side, when you kill one of their troopers, that same orb will appear. However, for them, it will appear orange. If they shoot the orange orb before it pops, or before you shoot it, they will steal those souls away from you, and vice versa. This is one of the earlier mechanics to master in Deadlock, being able to farm not only your enemy's souls, but stealing the souls that your enemy would have gotten simultaneously puts you at an advantage and them at a disadvantage. So what do you do with souls? Great question. Throughout the game, you will periodically want to go back to your base or find a curiosity shop around the map in order to upgrade your character. Upgrades are divided into 3 categories: weapon, vitality, and spirit. The weapon upgrades will boost your main damaging ability. Perks can include faster reloading, more ammunition, and a quicker fire rate. The vitality upgrades will boost your health and armor. Perks can include more health, faster regeneration, and increased stamina and movement speed. Finally, we have the spirit upgrades. The spirit upgrades enhance your character's unique abilities. Perks for this can include more use of the ability, a faster cooldown time, and more potency for said ability. Keep in mind, each category has 4 slots dedicated to it, and as you progress throughout the game, 4 additional flex spots will unlock, which can host any upgrade type. This will leave you with a total of 16 different upgrades. Now, what are your character's abilities? At the beginning of the game, you will be able to choose one of your 4 abilities to unlock right away. As you defeat more enemies and collect more souls, you will begin to earn ability points. You can either use these points to upgrade an existing ability, or unlock a new one. Once you have all abilities unlocked, you will need to save up points to continue unlocking the next tier of the ability. Notice that you can tell what the benefits are of upgrading an ability to the next tier before actually doing so. Let's take a look at Abrams here, for example. He's a great choice for new players because he's easy to understand how to use. Abrams' first ability is Siphon Life. When activated, a ring will appear around him. Any enemy within that ring will take damage that will end up healing Abrams. In its level 2 form, the cooldown is shortened by 20 seconds. In its level 3 form, the duration lasts an extra 2 seconds, and in its level 4 form, it does an extra 40 damage to enemies. His second ability is Shoulder Charge. He will charge forward and knock back any enemy in his way. If he pinches an enemy into a wall, he will stun them, and he will gain a boost of speed afterwards. At level 2, the cooldown is decreased by 20 seconds. At level 3, it lasts an extra half a second. And at level 4, you gain an extra 5.5 weapon damage for 8 seconds after colliding with an enemy. His third ability is Infernal Resilience. Now this one is unique to Abrams because it is a passive ability, meaning you don't need to press any button to activate it. Not every character is like that. Infernal Resilience regenerates a portion of incoming damage over time. At level 2, you can get an extra 1.5 health regen per second. At level 3, you gain an extra 150 maximum health. And at level 4, you have plus 9% damage regeneration. Finally, we have Abrams' ultimate ability, which is Seismic Impact. This ability makes Abrams leap high into the air and smash into the ground, stunning and damaging all enemies around him. At level 2, the cooldown is reduced by 40 seconds. At level 3, you gain 100 maximum health and 15% fire rate for each hero hit. This lasts for 25 seconds. At level 4, you become immune to stun, silence, sleep, root, and disarm. It lasts 3 seconds after landing. Keep in mind, this is just one of 21 current characters to explore, each with their own unique abilities. Let's go back to the Curiosity Shop. Now, the shop might seem intimidating for new players, which is totally understandable. For this reason, Valve has a default build structure for upgrades they suggest you buy with your souls. Each of these default builds is unique to each character. They are divided into early game, mid game, and late game. Now, if you have a bit more experience or want to try and create your own build, you can always select the individual category at the top and pick from there. Otherwise, you can browse community builds for characters as well. These are custom made by players for what they believe is the best build for each character. The Curiosity Shop will probably be the biggest learning curve for new players. There's quite a bit that goes on in there, and an entire video alone could be dedicated to how to utilize it. But from what I've said already, you should have the basics. The last thing I will mention is that each upgrade category has 4 tiers. The lower down you go, the more powerful the unlock will be, but the more souls that they will cost. Let's move on to what you see on your screen, how to manage the HUD. Right away in the middle of your screen there is your crosshair. Next to it is your ammo count and stamina count. The stamina count is the larger individual bars which tell you how many times you can double jump or dash before the cooldown begins. To the left is your health bar. It shows your current health and maximum health. At the top, it also shows your current health regeneration rate per second. If you purchase an upgrade that gives you either bullet or spirit shield, the remaining health bar of that shield will appear to the right of the health bar. To the bottom left of the health bar, the bomb or bottle or flask looking thing is the level up bar. It shows you how many more souls you need to collect before you level up. With each level up comes either an ability point, ability unlock, or your health and damage increases. On the bottom far left of your screen, it will show your movement speed, bullet damage rate, and spirit damage rate. Additionally, you can see how many current souls you've gathered, and all of the upgrades you bought as well. At the bottom center shows all of your spirit abilities, and to the bottom right is the live minimap of the game. Map shows in real time the progression of each lane on the map, where your teammates are, and where any current visible enemies are. The squares on the map indicate the guardians and walkers still left alive. And at the very bottom right corner of the map shows the zipline boost cooldown. Once you use the zipline boost, it has about a 350-second cooldown, but you do have about a 30-second use period once it's activated. So now that you have a basic understanding of what the game is and how to play, how do you actually win? Well, the simple explanation is that Deadlock games are won by making your way into the enemy's base, destroying their 2 shrines, their patron, and finally their weakened patron. Once the weakened patron is destroyed, the game is over. However, it's a lot easier said than done. Deadlock games typically last about 30 to 40 minutes. However, in the little time I've played, I've had a Deadlock game end in under 15 minutes, and I've had several go for over 50 minutes and even over an hour. Once the endgame comes and all the guardians and walkers are destroyed, it becomes a back and forth team battle, which honestly is my favorite part about Deadlock. The team fights are very fun and very engaging. But after a while, everyone becomes super strong and it gets a little hard to kill one individual enemy, much less an entire team, which is how you get the games to last a while. I'm not saying every game is like that, but it's something I've tended to notice while playing. And that's really it for the basics of Deadlock. I will mention a couple more slightly in-depth mechanics to be on the lookout for, though. 1. About halfway through the game, there is a Cyclops-looking boss that will spawn in the middle of the map. It will take close to your entire team to kill it, but it is worth it because it gives you 3 very good temporary buffs. They are a 50% reduction on death timer once, your troopers get 50% more HP for the duration of the buff, and hero fire rates are increased in order to assist in pushing objectives. 2. On the minimap, on the far sides, you may notice an urn symbol. Picking up that urn and delivering it to the marked spot on the map will give you a lot of souls. 3. There are destructible golden statues and wooden boxes all over the map. Destroying them will sometimes drop a small perk that lasts the rest of the game. 4. There are connecting areas and teleporters and curiosity shops in the underground areas of the game. 5. There are specific spots on the map where small monster enemies will appear. They will not attack you if you do not attack them, but they are a very good source for souls. 6. Holding down tab and hovering over a character will reveal their stats for the game, including team versus team kills, souls, and ability points. 7. The number underneath each character's picture is how many souls they've collected. 8. You cannot get on ziplines until you stop taking damage, and if you take damage while on a zipline, you will fall. 9. The default melee button is Q. Tapping it performs a quick melee attack, and holding it down performs a heavy melee attack. 10. This game, in fact, does have voice chat. Please use it if you want to communicate something. And that is it for my ultimate quick guide to Deadlock. Let me know if you've played the game and what your thoughts are. Do you want to see more Deadlock content from me? If so, let me know down below. I'm thinking of making a more in-depth character breakdown and build guide for each of the 21 characters. Let me know if you'd like to see that. Otherwise, that's it for me. And until then, I will see you all next time.